Hello and welcome. This is Silverox, and on today's episode, we are going to be making the Overwatch torbjorn's hammer. Sorry if you saw the rivet gun here, we're not doing the rivet gun today. Today we are going to be doing the rivet armor. But this episode is going to be a little different. I'm going to be putting this as a free submission on my Patreon. By the way, if you want to go to my Patreon with only a $2 subscription, you can get pretty much every single project I've done in the past, and of course I also have some freebies you can get there for yourself, just in case you don't want to spend the money. With that said, I'm going to be going through step by step on how I'm going to make the torbjorn's hammer. Note that this can't be a perfect reproduction of the hammer, since it has to be printed in paper, so I can't go overboard with any details. With that said, let's get started. Let me put screen keys on so you know what keys I'm pressing over here. And now we are going to start by putting the course as a center, and we're going to add a random mesh. We're not going to use this. From here, immediately going to edit mode. In edit mode, I'm going to press A several times until I get everything selected and delete everything. At the moment we are inside the mesh, but there's no mesh available. So for now, we are going to create a circle, pressing F6, align this to view. Now we're going to have to determine how many vertices we want on this thing. Remember, we can't put this many because every single vertex stays on here. I'm going to show you something. Every single one of these edges that are connected by the vertices, that's a bend that's going to have to be made in paper. So you can't go overboard, otherwise, well, it doesn't work. So select everything, delete it again, and cursor to center. Add a circle again, F6, line to view, and right here we are going to make, I don't know, let's put 16, 14. Yeah, this should be enough. By the way, I'm always putting these on even numbers because I'm going to use a mirror modifier later on, and I don't have to want to cut one of these faces in half to do it, so even numbers it is. Pressing this. Okay, 3 for side view, rotate it on the Z axis, and 90, there we go. Now we are going to move this up here, and we are going to start by the hitting face of the hammer. And for that we are going to resize it so that the top vertices is on top of the hammer, the head, and the bottom one is at the bottom, of course. From here, press E to extrude, extrude it forward, press S to scale it, and I'm going to scale it down. Pressing Z so I can see what I'm doing, and just, there we go. Whoops. I accidentally pressed the X key and it did this. Remember that once you scale, if you press the Z key, X key or Y key, it doesn't work here because it's in your Y axis. You can scale it in that specific axis. Now from here we are going to select this back circle here, and instead of going and selecting with the box select, I'm going to press Alt key, right click, and it immediately selects that. Extrude it forward until it reaches this edge right here, and scale it down. So from here just select these two and press F until everything is filled, and there we go. That is the eating face of the hammer. Now I am going to select it like this because I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate it, pull it back just slightly. Something you have to be careful with, for example, in this state it is on top of the vertices right here. Once I export this into Pepakura Designer, if this is left like this, it thinks that this mesh I'm selecting and this one are one, and it pretty much merges these vertices together. The problem is, since there's a face behind it, it's going to make a cut that can't actually be glued, so always make sure that in Blender you separate it, even if it's just by a small hair. From here I'm going to extrude this till the edge and extrude again. And there we go. the hammer is already taking shape, and this is one of the reasons why you want to be sure how many vertices you have, because as you can see from here, this is one of the smallest points on the hammer, not including the back part. There are a lot of vertices that you will have to glue. Sorry, not the vertices, the edges you will have to glue. Once again, I did this part, now I'm going to duplicate it again, pull it back, extrude it, scale it, and this is pretty much the process I'm going to be using to create the hammer itself. This isn't a very complicated process. Even if you don't have any 3D experience, this is quite easy to do. As you can see, it is already done. The majority of the hammer head is already done. So from here we are going to have to do this top cover, and for that I had a picture I downloaded earlier from the internet. Of course it's from the internet, so I can see what this top part looks like, and there's a good representation of it right here. We are going to be working on that. This part right here is a simple cylinder. This is going to have even less vertices than the face of the hammer has, and those vertices are pretty much being duplicated down here. Note that I will not be doing the spiral here. This would be incredibly complicated in paper to replicate, as I will not be doing these overlaid plates right here. As you can see, every plate is overlaying on top of the next one. I'm not going to be doing that. I will be adding small details like the inlays right here, and maybe even the inlays and the handle, but obviously as this is made out of paper, there's going to be a lot of restrictions input into it. Right now all I'm going to be doing is duplicating this bottom part. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be flat, but this one, Ctrl Shift H to hide everything but what we are working with, and I'm going to shrink this down, press Alt H and bring everything back. And work with this. This should be fine, I believe. Yeah, this is pretty much fine. So now to work on the handle and the protrusion part from the top. This should be easy. Once again, the cursor to center. Going to be adding a circle, pressing 1 so it goes to the front, F6 line to view, and now I'm not going to be adding the 14 vertices, as this is far too much for a simple handle. So let's try a 10. Yeah, I like the shape right here. This is fine by me. Select to the side, rotate it by 90 so it goes flat. I'm going to be pulling up right here. Some of the reference pictures I had show that this is pretty much, as you can see, completely flat, so I should be able to just size it according to the top right here. Size it more, there we go. I'm going to extrude this downwards, and I'm going to leave it right here. I will be fixing these points later on, but for now I will be doing the top part. There we go. Select these two and press F until everything is filled. Now from here, let me see. Oh yeah, I'm going to select this one. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to leave it right here. If you're wondering why am I not fixing these now, that's because I'm going to be pretty much cutting this entire thing in half later on, so I can do a mirror modifier, and I only need to do details on one side. They get put on both sides, but first I have to work with the round surfaces, because that's the way I like to do things right now. So I'm pretty much going to extrude this downward like this. This part should be like this. As you can see, this is a really repetitive process, but once you know how to do it, it's actually quite fun to do. You can actually do something like this incredibly fast. I'm going to delete this one. select this entire bit, duplicate it and bring it down. I'm going to duplicate this and bring this up right here. And now I'm going to do is select this, Shift Alt and select this. I'm going to press space and I'm going to type bridge. And that option appears, says bridge edge loops. Press enter and it does exactly as it said, it bridges the edge loops. So press space and it remembered the last thing I searched, so enter again. And this part pretty much, actually no, I'm going to leave it like this. Now there's a reason I'm leaving it like this. When you're doing something like a handle, you can't just leave the entire handle completely hollow, since once again it's made out of paper. I'm going to need to say this a lot of time, but since it's made out of paper, the more hollow space there's inside, the weaker it is. So I should maybe add some more spaces, like separate this in half right here, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave this as a complete piece, so I have to close this, and I'm going to do this piece individual, this piece individual, and then I'm going to do a straight cylinder out to the top. So I'm going to duplicate it, move it, of course you always have to move it, extrude it down, extrude it again, and scale it up. From here you can see there's a face is already there because I copied duplicate from the top, duplicate it again, bring it down, and I'm going to pretty much extrude this all the way to the bottom, duplicate it again, and now I'm just going to shrink it down until it's pretty much like this. Yeah, this is fine. As you can see, the hammer is already taking shape. The only thing I need right now is the bit on the back. I'm going to need to make the cover that goes over top of the hammer, and obviously after that I'm going to need to add all the small details right here. I'm going to add these. These shouldn't be very complicated to do. It actually should be very easy. Maybe I'll add these if I'm feeling lucky. Other than that, this is pretty much the whole thing. So from here we're going to go to the front. Press Z so we go into transparency view and pretty much select the entire side right here, not selecting the middle. X and press vertices. What I did right here is I deleted one side of it completely. Now this is not a problem because I'm going to go into the Modifier tab. Once in the Modifier tab I'm going to select mirror. Obviously this one is already set to X. Sorry about that. This is already set to the X-axis, so it's mirroring on the X-axis, the red one right here. If you wanted, you can mirror it in other direction, but the X is the one I'm going to use. From here, I'm going to select these two vertices and move them down almost until they touch the edge right there. Do the same for this. This will now be floating above that, and this will now be floating above this. Now this means that I'm going to select these two vertices, Ctrl L and Shift H, front view, so I have a better view of what I'm doing. As you can see, this is not working well, so I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to pull this down. I'm trying to keep an even distance around here, so this will simply sit on top and not wobble. So Alt H to bring everything back, select one vertices from this specific mesh and not from this, and Ctrl L Shift H. That means I only have these two to work with, and I'm going to need to alter these. Now for these I don't want to like I've demo the keys. I don't want to pull this down because as you can see this is a very small distance right here. You don't want to put very small distances in when exporting to Pepakura, because well, that's going to be incredibly hard to actually cut off. What I'm going to do instead, I'm press the K key and I'm going to make these specific cuts right here. Now why you're saying, oh, but this is now a small distance right there. Yes, it is, but this face is now much larger than it was before, so this will be easier to cut. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm And remember, since I have a mirror modifier, I don't need to work on the other side. Well, I can't right now unless I press this button. So I'm going to control L, Shift H, and I'm going to work only on this piece. Select these faces and delete these faces. Make sure you don't delete the vertices, otherwise this happens. So delete only what you know you're going to work with. Now I know for a fact that looking for the fronts, this is the cut it needs to have, so I can make sorry, I'm going to join those two vertices, join these two, and join these. Now these should not be colliding, and yes, it is not colliding. So from here, if we go into this part, you can see this is pretty much a rectangle that's has a chamfer right here on the corner, so this shouldn't be hard to replicate. Going up top, add a mesh off to the side, and since we have the mirror modifier, it's going to duplicate on the side right here. What I'm going to do is turn on clipping. By the way, this is something you should turn on, otherwise this happens. Make sure that clipping is turned on if you need it. In my case, I will be needed because I will be joining these two faces together. I'm going to pull one out right here, and what I'm going to do is press, where's the bevel tool? There's the bevel tool. It doesn't work because it's a 3D face, so that's with me having a brain fart. So I'm going to add a few cuts right here. What did I delete? I'm going to remove double. Yeah, there's no doubles here. So this is pretty much it. This is the top face that you can see right here. Now all we need to do is create the elevations like indicated here. Selecting one vertex with the face, Control L. This is pretty much the same thing we've been doing the entire time. Now I'm going to be this. Yeah, I believe this is the right thickness. It is. So I can't be wider than this because this is now going to need to go like this. So scale it on the y-axis this time, and this should be fine. I'm obviously going to extrude it upwards. Select the bottom back part right here, pull it back. I should be able to go like this. Yeah, this is fine. And I'm going to press the C key to bring up this circle select, and I'm going to select these, and I'm going to pull them inwards. Now I'm going to select everything. I don't need, and I'm going to bring this up right here and bring this down. As you can see, that's a slight incline right here. That's easy to fix. Actually, I'm not going to do it. I don't know if you saw it right here, this part. This is once again very thin. You have to take in consideration everything you do once you working with Blender. From Blender to Papercraft. Here I'm going to extrude this downward to add this small edge right here. Now as you can see in the model, this is hollow inside. Well, I'm not going to be making it hollow. I'm going to work with other methods, mostly because I want to keep this simple. This will be a free submission after all. I won't add too many details onto it. What I will be doing is I'm going to add another cut loop right here. I'm going to be pulling this forward, and I'm going to be giving a slight incline. This should be fine. Actually, like this, works perfectly for what I need. And you run, well, what about the hole you're going to need to cut in the middle? Well, this hole is not going to be a problem. I will be cutting it out later. So from here, press Z key, bring up everything we don't need, edge. I'm going to select this edge right here. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to select this face. Duplicate the facing, separate it from the original one. This should be fine now. Actually, it is not fine. I am not satisfied with what I have right here, so I'm going to select the entire bottom part, rotate it slightly and bring it down slightly. this is creating more of the shape we have right here. I'm going to bring this up, bring this up, and bring this up. Add another cut loop right here and bring that cut loop up. Yeah, there we go. This is much better. I will be selecting these three vertices, pressing X to scale, pressing the Z, and without moving your cursor, press the 0 key and enter. Now what I did right here is I aligned all these vertices in the X-axis right here. You didn't see any difference because, well, there wasn't any difference. This is with a very subtle change. You didn't see much. But trust me, for example, I'm going to show it right here. All of these vertices are not aligned on the X-axis, so we'll press S, X, 0, and they immediately align on the X-axis. I'm not going to do that because that's not what I want. This shape is looking fine, so we'll press 3 key to bring it to the side view. Duplicate this face again, and this time just extrude it downwards, just so the edge touches the right there, and pull this downwards like this. Now this doesn't work. There we go. Control L Shift H like always. This doesn't work because it's too sick. I'm going to bring everything out. Control L H this one, Control L H this one, until I have only my, well, the pieces I'm going to work with. As you can see right here, it is going into the body of the hammer. As you can see, in all of these, they are curved outwards. I'm going to need to replicate that there. So I'm going to select this part, go into front view, and I'm going to pull it outward. Add a loop in the middle, and I'm going to bow it just slightly, not like this. And I'm going to bow it just slightly. Now what this is going to do is going to give that slight curve that you can see on this model. Obviously this is a much more perfect model than mine. Mine is not meant to look that nice. Now from here we need to add this piece, though that piece is obviously easy to do. Select that face, duplicate it, move it down just slightly, extrude it downward, scale it on the Y-axis only, adjusting it as needed, scaling all on the Y-axis so you don't end up misshaping it. Pull it just outward slightly. I'm going to need to alter this and pull it downward once again, shape it, size it in the X-axis, rotate it as necessary, of course, and that leaves us with this. Obviously now I'm going to need to work on the curves. As you can see, the curve is terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one face from each of these models, meshes, Shift H to hide everything I don't need, and I'm going to work on fixing this curve. This is just cosmetic parts, there's nothing very special about this. This on the other end I'm going to need to fix. This should be fine right here. It's like that. There we go, this comes outwards. This unfortunately is the not so glory part of making any 3D model, is you actually have to fix it constantly. This isn't a one-time off thing. You will have to either alter your plans or fix them completely. Trust me, that does occur a lot of times. And of course I'm actually worrying getting this done as fast as possible, since I am doing a full commentary video on this. And that's a pretty reasonable outcome for me. Now I may add some extra parting here to solidify the entire thing. Actually, I may actually just do that. So I'm going to select these, duplicate them down. I'm going to add cut right here till it meets this edge. Select the face and get rid of that face. Not about that. I'm going to select this and pull it forward. Control L Shift H to hide everything I don't need. So I'm going to pull this back. This will be fun. No, it's not. This is very thin right here. Fix that. I'm going to leave that right. No, actually, I'm going to leave it like this. God damn it. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about this. I'm just going to do it like this. I go Shift H, Control L to select only this part, bring it up, and looks like I did end up making the hollow insides. Well, that's fine. That's not a big problem for me. What it is, it's this part right here. Select the face, scale it on the y-axis 0 and enter, because I want it to meet like this. And this now that's incredibly reasonable. Now what I'm going to need to do is, not this, here, is make the cut for the cylinder right here. So I'm going to select both of these. So Control L Shift H, so I only have these two to work with. As you can see on the models right here, they usually don't go forward on front of the cylinder. They just end up getting cut right about here. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I'm going to select these faces and I'm going to pull it back just slightly. And from here, actually no, I'm going to select I'm going to leave it like that. Select nothing, press K, and I'm going to follow the contours that you see on the outside of the circle. And there we go. That's the circle made. Control L, select this and hide it. Now all I'm going to do is press C, select these faces and get rid of them. I'm going to select not the faces but these three edges right here, scale it on the Z, 0 and enter. I'm going to select that one as well, 0, enter. This leaves me with a relatively clean face. Get rid of this face right here. Why did it? Okay, face. Okay, for some reason I left the edges. Now there's a problem right here. When I did the cut, I obviously just followed the contours of the cylinder. The problem with that is many of these faces are more than 4 vertices. When you want to work from the Blender to Pepakura, you can't leave a face with more than 4 edges. It's not that it's not going to work, it's, for example, this piece right here. As you can see, the edge bows in towards the face, meaning that these two, once I export into Pepakura, are going to be like this. Obviously this will not fit the cylinder. So what I'm going to have to do is either create some edges like this or work like that, for example like this. Adding a cut loop right here means there's an extra edge on this side, and that edge I can just connect to that. I prefer doing it this way as it leaves a much cleaner surface. This is one easier to work with, and second, it's easier to later on cut in Pepakura. So I'm going to do the same here. The reason why this is working is because I removed this face. Otherwise, this would be going all the way around and probably just looping around. You don't want that, as you want just a single edge to be added. From here, we have 4 there, 4 there. This one is a 3 face. I'm okay with that. This one is 4, 4, 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. I could simply add one edge here, but as you can see, this face is actually going very thin. This one is not, so I'm going to add one edge here, and I'm going to simply do this. Now, this is not a clean solution. This is actually terrible if you are working with an actual, well, to be honest, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is fine. if you're working with an actual 3D model, you don't want this. You want squares, not triangles. This is going to be a stationary model. I won't be altering anything in it, so that's fine by me. Select that vertex, select this side view, extrude it downward, and as you can see, this is not going to be flat with the volume. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select the entire volume, rotate it slightly till it's slightly horizontal, scale it on the Z axis, 0 and enter, and you can see now everything's pretty aligned, and just going to bring back to the top, making sure that the gap is relatively the same all around. That leaves me with this. The circle should now fit in here quite nicely. As you can see, the edges are still not actually done. I'm going to be deleting these edges, and I'm going to be adding something like this. Oops, I left a vertex right here, and of course there's one right here. Don't leave vertices hanging. They're actually terrible for the Pepakura model. Let me see, there's an extra vertex here, so I'm going to fill this, add one right here. This is fine. Yeah, as you can see right now, I cannot add one right here because it's going to add an extra vertex that I would need to add another one, and so forth and so forth. What I'm going to do is select only one vertex, press F, and that creates a triangle. Do that 2 times and then another, and that pretty much fills the entire thing. When you press Alt-H, I'm going to select these, hide everything I don't need, and I'm going to check. Yep, there we go. This is a perfect view of it. There's an even gap all around this cylinder. Now you have to remember that once you're exporting, once you're printing this, depending on the type of paper you're using, this may get slightly thicker than you actually intended it to. So you may need to put bigger gaps all around your things. Now with that said, I don't need to increase the gaps on these ones because even if the paper is thicker than it should be, you can just glue them anyway. When it comes to this, if this would simply grow a few millimeters, it wouldn't fit inside and your model will be ruined. So do take some of these things into consideration while making your models. Now obviously I'm still not done tweaking things. You're never done tweaking things. It's just the nature of this. I'm going to select these back faces right here. I'm going to pull them inward, ball them like this, and this should be fine. Yeah, this is actually quite good. Now, what we're missing right now is the bolts on the sides, the back part right here, and these details right here. Now, I'm not going to be doing this, or maybe I will not. I don't think I will. Maybe another time I would be inclined to do so, but not right now. Now I'm going to be making these bolts. Now these bolts are quite easy to make as there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8-sided circles. So I'm going to press right here. That places my cursor right there. Alt-A to add a mesh. F6 to align everything, and I believe it is what, 8, there we go. And now I'm going to scale it down, and I'm going to put it right around where the bolt would be. There we go, that's the right size for it. Just extrude it forward. Okay, why isn't it working? Oh, I had faces selected, and it was trying to extrude faces that didn't exist. Now, as you can see, this is a regular bolt, so extrude that, extrude it again, and shrink it down. Control L, Shift H, so I only have to work on this. As you can see, the faces on this one, they are black. Now, this is because when I was extruding it, it thinks that the faces are inside. This is the inside. I'm going to select everything and press Ctrl N. That recalculates every face I have. Select this, and there we go. H to bring everything back again. Those lines right there. And now all I need, I'm going to select this, Ctrl L, duplicate it. I'm going to add a loop in the middle and delete one of the sides. Now the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to select everything, rotate it on the Z axis 90 degrees, Control 1, so I go to the back view. As you can see, there's an equal face right here. I'm going to scale this up. Let me see on the side view. Yeah, this is actually perfect. This is the perfect size. So Control 1 again, so I go to the back view, and I'm going to collide these two. And there we go. The back side is now done. Now this is a very simple build. Actually, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put an edge right there, an edge right here, and I'm going to select Ctrl L, Shift H, so I only have this to work with, and I'm going to delete these. Now there's a reason I did that, and that's so that once I finish this, as you can see, it will duplicate it downward and everything ready. So once again, the cut key or K key to make cuts. Make just a very crude cut. There we go. There is nothing complicated to this. Add a loop on the back, add a loop on the front, so we can make something like this. Add a loop here, add a loop here, add another loop here, now I'm not going to add one for the bottom right here because I will be connecting this maybe to, no, actually I should do it. We will see how it works. I'm going to select this entire thing, duplicate it downward. Yeah, actually I would need to make this. Now I didn't want to make this because once again, every single edge you put on your model is an extra bend you have to put on the paper, so you have to take in considerations things like this. I didn't, I was a dumbass. Sorry about that. I'm going to bridge these, select both of them, and bring him downward, and bridge. Whoa! What happened right? Oh, I know what happened. I have this one selected. Now to deselect only one, for example, I'm going to use the C key, which is the circle select key. Press Shift and select the vertex. As long as Shift is pressed, it should work. And there we go. Now fill these, and now select. Actually, I should have done this before I duplicated them, but that's fine. Just going to select these faces, not that one, and I'm going to extrude them forward, inward, SX0 and enter. That means that they are now completely flat, and I don't like the way they ended up as. So I'm going to delete everything. Now that leaves me with this design, so I'm just going to select everything that I duplicated before and delete it. Now while you are making things like this, you have to accept that sometimes you simply have to start over. Sometimes you just don't do it the right way the first time, so delete it and start again. It's a bothersome thing to do, but it is something you will be doing a lot of times. Unless you, of course, you're perfect, in that case you won't do anything like that. But perfection is not something easily achieved, so yeah, I still win. Now, this pretty much is going to be finishing the entire thing, and there we go. Alt H, bring everything in, and what I'm going to do now is going to press this eye icon. What this will do is it will hide the the mirror part. Now the reason I did that is because I want to make sure that I didn't make a mistake that sometimes I do, which is something like this, leaving a face in between the actual mesh. Now that usually isn't a problem with the simple mistake to fix. The problem is, for example, I'm going to export this as an OBJ file, of course, to the folder I'm working. Let me just open this. There we go. As you can see, this red outline here means that there's nothing glued to this. What happens if you leave a face in between here is that it thinks that this part here would be a separate part, as if it would add a piece in the middle, but it wasn't. It can't be glued, so my words are escaping me right now. Pepakura doesn't know what to do, so it doesn't create a glue line right here, and it creates the glue line for that one piece on both sides, so you can't actually do it. It doesn't know what to do, it's lost. So I'm going to turn the mirror back on, save it. I'm not going to apply it, you don't need to apply it to do an export. Export the OBJ again, replace the existing one. This doesn't need to be there. Open it up, and there we go. Close everything, and this is a mess. Why is this separated? Seriously, why is it separated? So we gotta do it again. Export OBJ, export place. This can't be updated, so it has to be reopened. Okay, and close. Now this is it. This is the finished product. This is the Overwatch torbjorn's hammer. There's only one thing left for us to do, and that is, well, there's not one, there's two. One, determine how big this is supposed to be, and second, it's unfolding it. Now I have a few references with me, and I don't actually want to make this too big of a hammer. Remember that this is about the size of your slightly bigger than your hand. There's the top of the handle as right up here, and then there's the hammerhead. Now with all of that combined, this should be, let me just check my references right here, about 35 centimeters long. Now I don't know how much that is in inches, so let's ask Google how much it is. 35 centimeters to inches is about 13.7 inches, so that's my goal. Now the thing is, if I press unfold, I have set it to manual. The height I can put 35 centimeters because it's millimeters, so there you go, 350 millimeters. Now pressing OK, what this will do is it will separate each individual piece, but it will not make it so that it fits inside one piece of paper. Now remember, I'm using A4 paper. I don't know what type of paper you are using, where you're from, so once again I have to take that in consideration. Now at this point I'm just going to do a very quick time lapse of me completely arranging everything. When I'm talking, you will probably have the complete thing over here, and now will be setting enough to be printed. So I'll be right back. Well, with it completely unfolded, as you can see, it takes up only 8 pages. It's not that many because it left a lot of empty space in each page, but it's okay. The next thing is from here you could directly print it, but as you can remember, in my Patreon I submit a PDF format, so let's do that. While printing it, I have an add-on that emulates a printer as a PDF converter. This creates a PDF file from what we have right here, but I'm not going to print it just yet because, as you can see, this is just the blank page parts, nothing more. What I usually do is I set up an Edge ID. Now what Edge ID does is allows you to match IDs with numbers, so you know exactly where each part is going to be included once you print it. So with that on, I'm going to press OK to print. It will go through every single page like it would to a normal printer, and from there on you just have to wait for a small while until the cutepdf starts up again. I will be stopping the video and I'll be waiting for that. Well, it has appeared, and as you can see it appears like this. A simple save something here and press save. So it takes by default the name of the project you have opened. So like with that, we now have a PDF file, and there you can see every single part with an edge ID assigned to it. This is once again a very simple build. I'm going to be putting in approfi. I hope you actually watch the entire video so you know how this thing is done. There's not a lot of detail on this one. This was like a 20-minute video, and probably more, but it doesn't matter because, like I said, incredibly simple build. I made much more complex things in the past, and like always, if you want this and you want to get it for yourself, then you just need to go to my Patreon at patreon.com/silverrockscrafts. With only a $2 subscription, you are able to get this and every other project I've done in the past. Remember to leave a comment and like the video. Subscribe to get future updates, and thank you for watching.